victim a person, circumstance, or condition is doing something or not doing something that is causing the victim's life to be as it is. I can be at the effect of anything, including my boss, my kids, the weather, my job, the traffic, the economy, my body, and my mood. When I'm in victim, I'm feeling powerless. Every role in the drama triangle is a form of victim consciousness. And in the end, everyone is trying to prove that they are the biggest victim. When people and teams work in presence, the roles change. The victim moves from victim to being the creator. They take responsibility for their lives and stop complaining about what is happening to them. The villain becomes the challenger. Challengers bring healthy pressure to the creator to support them in facing and dealing with their lives in a way that creates a breakthrough. Unlike the villain, they don't blame or criticize. In presence, the hero becomes the coach. The coach doesn't try to fix anyone. They see everyone as fully empowered creators of their own lives and seek to support them in taking responsibility for creating the life they most want. Leaders and teams that learn to play in the creator, coach, or challenger roles of presence find they are more creative, engaged, aligned, and energized. They have more fun and get more things done. So, are you working from presence or the drama triangle?
You like it?
Yes.
So what if I brought on 3 amazingly conscious leaders to role play what it looks like to be empowerment in the empowerment triangle? Do you guys like that?
Yes.
All right. Let's bring on Michelle Heyman, Tiffany Howard, and Megan Valentine. All right, sit down, guys.
Really good.
Okay, so they've got some cards here. We're going to actually have a little fun. And they've got, first of all, Michelle, show your victim card. Okay, Tiffany, your villain card. Megan, your hero card. Okay. How about showing moving from victim to creator? Beautiful. Villain to challenger, and hero to coach. So understand that this move, this key shift move, is critical for both the other roles, and we're going to talk about that in detail. So first, interesting enough, when we created many years ago and sat down and wrote out the 6 leadership habits, it's interesting, but going from victim to creator is the first 2 leadership habits. It's baked into our trademarked habits of healthy transformational leadership. Isn't that cool? Second is basically moving from villain to challenger. Basically, we seek growth with obstacles the way, and we cultivate trust. Is moving from villain, blaming, to challenging to create healthy pressure for growth and development. And last, hero to coach, we wake up potentially, transform masterfully, we create extraordinary results, is moving from hero to coach. Pretty cool, right? So, Michelle, talk about that shift move. In general, just in general in life, not specifically in our business. We're going to get to that in a minute to give you guys some tools. But right now, talk about that move, that shift, moving from victim to creator.
Yeah, Dr. A, so for many, many years, I lived as a victim. I'm talking prior to Optavia.
Did you have any idea that you were a victim?
No clue.
Okay.
No clue. I literally used to walk around feeling stuck and helpless. Why me? I felt like there was this black cloud following me around. In fact, I'm sure there was a post on Facebook at some point, seriously, saying like, there's this black cloud. I have a lot of bad luck. And then I became an Optavia coach. And I'd love to tell you that poof, all of that goes away, but it doesn't just work like that. So, but what I did learn is that no longer had to be my story. And through amazing mentorship and training, I didn't have to blame myself for what was happening in my world. I had to take responsibility for what was happening.
That's the that's the key shift, right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And as our friend John said yesterday, personal growth. Personal growth was really what was going to take me from victim to creator. And so that was crucial for me kind of moving forward. And I believe so strongly in your mission and what we were trying to create that I decided I need to take responsibility. I needed to decide what happened in my world was because of me. And so felt empowered. I felt empowered to do this. However, I don't know if you remember this, because you can drift back into victim mode even when you are feeling like a creator. But it was about 8 years ago at an incentive trip. And I had Dr. A's undivided attention in the pool, I think it was Costa Rica, and we were talking. Well, I was complaining. Yeah, what a waste of my time, right? I was complaining. Things were hard, and I felt stuck. But if you can imagine being in a pool with Dr. A, he's not going to let you just sit with that. And you really helped me to shift my thinking, to take all of this energy that I had and to put that into creativity.
It's always playing the challenger role there, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. And instead of, I was putting so much energy into the drama, and it's no fun being in the drama triangle, that's for sure. And so that was a pivotal moment, right? Because I realized what I was doing. So I also realized that fear is going to creep in, right? We have to face fear. It's just because the fear is there, and you will be fearful at times. You don't have to sit in that. And you said something yesterday. I actually wrote it down. The pain of the fear is optional. The pain of the fear isn't optional, but the suffering is. And I was just sitting in that suffering, and that was really good, so thank you. So maybe you guys are feeling like a victim in your business. Maybe you feel stuck. Maybe you don't know how to get out of this, or things are happening to you. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions and see if you can shift. So, what do you really want? If there were no obstacles, what would you do with your creative energy? And how are you using the issue to keep you from your magnificence? Because the power is inside of you.
Yeah, and there's always a reason that keeps you stuck. There's some benefit you're getting from staying in that unconscious state.
Yeah. So what if you used all of your energy, like Josh said this morning, to go find bring on a lot of new clients and a lot of new coaches and build new and create, maybe you have to build completely new, but get a good solid foundation. Imagine what that could look like. Because think about it, I was sitting in a pool with Dr. A and I was complaining. But apparently that's what I needed at that moment. And I want you to know that you may still, even if you can shift into creator mode, you may shift back into victim mode. But what I learned is if I take radical responsibility for what I'm doing, then I don't have to sit there, and I can use all of my energy for good. And I'm excited, I'm hopeful for the future and what we're gonna create.
Awesome, thank you, Michelle, that's great. Now Tiffany, it's hard for me to visualize you as a villain. I mean, I saw you yesterday with a little Tinkerbell hat on, or a little bandana on, and so it's just hard for me to imagine, but let's talk about villain to challenger.
Well, your mentors know you so well. So when we were assigned these roles, I first wanted to say I was going to play the victim, and Megan's like, no, they're going to be the villain. And if you're on our team, you probably know you might have seen the villain at times. So thank you, Dr. It makes me feel better. But I do want to give some of you hope. If this is your first time to learn about the drama triangle, it's comical to me that Dr. A asked me to come up here and share this with you, because 8 years ago at my first Sundance, when the wise Dr. A stood up to talk about this, I was like a deer in headlights. I'm like, maybe if I squint hard enough, I'll really get it. And it's been a journey. It's been an 8-year journey, and it's a lot like our health journey, right? It's not, even when we learn about it, it doesn't mean it's overnight. This takes time. And so for me, I did play the villain role a lot in my life. Because, and I'm so sorry, Michelle, but I saw victims as very weak people, and as a villain, you don't like to show weakness, you want to be strong. So that was the role I played. And for any of you who do the Enneagram, if you're an 8 on the Enneagram, you have a tendency, when you're not in health, to be a villain, and that is me. And Dan has taught me really well how to be a villain and overcome villainism. I had to do that, Dan, I had to. it's like father, like daughter, mentor, mentee, I don't know. But as Dan has grown, I've learned so much and grown myself. But someone in the fire pit asked last night, like, why is this so hard? And it's human nature, right? It's very similar to our health journey. I knew I was overweight, but I didn't know why. How we react as a victim or a villain in my case, we have to have that awareness that we're doing it to be able to work hard to shift from villain to challenger. And so for me, you can blink if this sounds like you, and if not, it's okay, because your spouse or your team, they know if it's you, so you don't have to admit it. But a villain looks like someone who's extremely controlling. You want to control every situation. They have a need to be right? Your way is always the right way. You can do it better. Why let someone on your team do the training when you know you can do it better? You have a tendency to tell people to suck it up, to stop whining, to get over it. If I did this, you can do this. You don't have a lot of compassion. You're not very empathetic. So I know now I've grown so much because of your wonderful teachings, Dr. A, but that is very much where I was. I knew that there was something wrong, but I didn't have the tools to change that. And it looks like sometimes when your coaches bring new ideas to you, if you're a coach on our team and you voice memo me a new idea, sometimes I have to gulp and I have to let me think about this, because it's easy to rise up and go, what, are you questioning my leadership? Is my way not good enough? And I'll admit that I have done that on several occasions. It also looks like using fear tactics. Right? That's when you are a villain, you use fear to punish and to try to control. It may be like, oh, well, if you don't make ED this month, you realize you're not going to get your consistency bonus because you know good and well that you need them to make ED for you to make your rank. Or do you realize you're not going to be on the cruise? And you're going to have team members on the cruise. What leader is not on the cruise because you know you need them to get there so you can get there? A lot of villains use fear tactics. It shows up in your everyday life. Not just in your business. What you do in your business generally is what you do in your life. So I'll give you a great example of this. On day one, I had been doing this full time for probably 3-4 months, and Andy came home full time. If you're on our team, you've heard this. I'm gonna show you what not to do as a co-coach. So by 5 minutes into us working together, we were already at each other's I don't know what throats. Andy's real sweet, but I was like, I got this. I'm going to teach you my ways. I'm the best. And he got a little annoyed, and I said, listen, buddy, you work for me now. It did not go well. No one ever asked me to maybe have a co-coach. No, I'm just kidding. We've grown a whole lot. Or it shows up in parenting. I want to control my children, right? I want to control what they wear, how they act. I like to control their emotions. Any of you want to control your kids' emotions or your teams? Like, why are you acting like that? You can go from calm, cool, and collected to somebody on your team or a child or a spouse saying something and you're a rocket ship, right? You're very reactive. I do that with my children, but here's what I want you to know. You have to shift. It's having the awareness that you're doing that. Stop, Challenge, Choose, Dr. A, has been so great, not only in my health journey, but in the drama triangle. Because when I want to react to that coach who's, in my mind, I want to just punch them, or, that child that I want to control, I have to stop myself and realize, am I playing a villain? Why am I doing this? Challenge that thought process with a lot of the tools Dr. A is going to teach us, and then make that choice. And here's the thing, challenger, going from villain to challenger, it's not just me challenging someone, and you're gonna see us do some role play in a minute on that, but it's also the actual challenges. Guys, we grow in our challenges. We do not grow when things are easy. It's like in the business, right? This may be a challenging season, but I guarantee you we're all growing 1,000,000 times more now than we were when it was easy. How do we know that? Because we hit ranks and people fell back, which proved to us we didn't grow through those times. We just went through those times. This is where we grow. As a parent, I have 2 children. I have my little sweet Parker. Please no one record this and send this to my kids. My sweet little Parker, I'm raising mini Andy. She's really is perfect, y'all. She can't stand it. She's a people pleaser. She doesn't want to mess up. When I look at her, I think I'm the best mom that ever walked the earth. She does not make me grow. But my sweet little Presley, I'm raising the mini villain Tiffany. And I always say she gonna be in prison or she gonna be the first female president, right? She gonna be one or the other. But that child causes me to grow. I read every parenting book. I ask every mom who has successful children. The challenges, y'all, is where we grow. And again, like Michelle said, it's easy to drift down below that line. This is gonna take, listen, you're not gonna learn this today, and tomorrow you're gonna go home and be the best coach, spouse, mom, dad, all the things. But now you have the awareness, so you can work on shifting. And the more you are aware and shift, the less you will drift over time.
Yeah, that's absolutely, that's awesome. And then the other part of it is you shift, and then you drift, and then you recognize it early, you don't go into the drama triangle. Once you've activated that chemistry, that neurochemistry, you can't get out. It's really hard. It's better to walk away, drink water, or calm yourself down. So the idea is to get there before. And just before we go to Megan, bottom line is for your clients, recognize that the victim, the victim, you're the hero, I screwed that up. The villain basically eats something and then beats himself up for it, right? They basically blame themselves. And the hero, which we're getting ready to get to, heroes themselves by going when something's wrong because they want to remove immediate pain, and they basically, again, comfort themselves with food, even with exercise, by the way. Although exercise is awesome if you're doing it for the right reasons. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, it actually can be very dangerous. So, Megan?
Yeah, so this was an interesting exercise for all of us, I think, and we ended up in the right roles to show up today. Dr. I've been studying leadership for 28 years, and I'm constantly amazed at how much I can know and not know. And, part of my story is that when I was 16, my 18-year-old cousin, on my 16th birthday, committed suicide. And I was able to turn that loss and that pain and that guilt into purpose, but the hardest part about that loss for me was that his sister had called me 2 days before and said, I'm concerned for my brother, and I didn't know what to say, and I didn't know what to do, and I was kind but dismissive, and I didn't do anything. And I went on to kind of serve youth and young adults for over 20 years before I came into Optavia, and used that pain with purpose. But it was only through this journey of leadership over the last 9 years of kind of realizing that leading others is really about leading me. And implementing some of these tools, I had a really big epiphany 2 weeks ago. I was in Greece, and I was supposed to go on a walking tour. I was on this amazing trip with 12 female entrepreneurs. It was incredible. I was super excited about this, but they didn't tell us that it was gonna be a 3-hour bus ride each way. Now, I don't have a great back situation currently, so I just knew that I would not be able to physically do that. So I said, I'm just gonna stay back. You guys go, have a great time. And I got left with myself. Do you ever get left with yourself? And unfortunately, normally my text has a flurried amount of messages coming in from engaged business partners, and I'm able to distract productively with them, and they were all asleep on the other side of the world. And so I took an invitation to sit with myself and to reflect and to journal a little bit. And as I did that, it was all of a sudden I had the realization that I could see that 16-year-old me, and I could meet her with grace and compassion and forgiveness, because she was so convinced that maybe if she would have done her part, that the outcome would have been different. And somewhere in my core belief system, without realizing that I had picked that up, since that time, I've been unconsciously trying to do my part out of fear that if I didn't jump in and be the hero, if I didn't help, if I didn't play my role, that the outcome wouldn't be good. And I'm so grateful for these tools, because as we begin to use these, because for us, we've had quite a year as a family, just to be vulnerable, and some situations with our family and with our, just some other family as well. And I did my go-to under stress, right? Because I learned as a pastor, and I even learned as a coach in this business, being the hero wasn't serving me well, and it wasn't serving my partners well. So I thought I was doing better at this. But this year, it was last November when things hit, and my go-to was to try to jump in and hero it, to fix it, diagnose it, solve it, and, rescue. And I couldn't do that with these situations. And so I had to break in a new way to learn that I can't carry everybody else's weight. And I can't save the people that are closest to me. I can only empower them I can lovingly challenge them. I can give them the tools and love them no matter what they choose. But these tools have really helped me because I had to get to a place even like very recently, right? Because our goal is, as we implement these things, to drift less and shift more. And I'm grateful to be able to show up today having had that evolution even in the last few weeks because my family needed me to shift like that. I couldn't live like that. For the last 11 months, it was contending with lack of sleep, stress, anxiety, high blood pressure, trying to show up really well for everybody else and not able to, sit with myself, but forcing myself to do that. I just wanted to, that's my invitation to all of you, and my prayer for today was just that when you leave here, would you consider accepting the invitation to sit with yourself long enough to maybe go to that hard, uncomfortable place, because there is empowerment there, there's healing there, and there's a better way. So
thank you so much for sharing and being vulnerable. Thanks. And it's amazing when you have that realization, that self-awareness, how it changes overnight. Right? It changed overnight. That time with yourself, without being there for everybody else, being the hero, you could have that inner reflection and change everything. And that's what we're talking about. If you really do this work, you can change everything, because your circumstances, your external, all those things you look and do comparative analysis with, none of it matters. It only matters what you decide to do in here and then go for that future. So, all right, this is the fun part. We got the, did anybody here see Witches of Eastwick movie? Yeah. Okay, so I told these guys, and they're all so damn young, they said, oh, we don't know what that is. Well, anyway, just real quickly, Jack Nicholson in this movie was the devil. And he tempted all three of these beautiful women, and they basically did what they wanted for themselves, narcissistically, right? Because they were being indulged. And then they realized it was the devil, and then they decided, and they came together as this powerful force and just messed up Jack Nicholson, turned him back into, I think, a sperm or something. It was ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Anyway, that was way out of anything of context. But let's see what you can conjure up for the audience.
Yes.
So we're going to do some role play, and hopefully it'll help you, one, to see yourself, right? To see where do you normally play in the drama triangle. And you can move roles. I was actually sharing, although I tend to be a villain, sometimes if it's a coach that I just love so much, sometimes I can tend to want to be the hero. So you can move, but we're going to play in our roles that we kind of identify with the most. So hopefully this will help you, but we're going to act as if I'm a mentor and she's the mentee, and we're on a Zoom, because you all do this all day long. So, all right, so Michelle, I just wanted to Zoom with you today. I know you were sharing some things with me, and I would just love to see, where's your heart? Where are you with the state of the business? Where's your head at?
Thanks for reaching out, Tiffany. I'm actually really frustrated. Things aren't really so fun anymore, and I just feel like the economy is terrible, and it's affecting everybody's business, and it's just not fun anymore. Remember the days when people would put a post up and they became senior coach in a minute, and people were growing ED, and they were just growing businesses so fast, and it was fun, and we were making a huge impact. We were helping so many people, which is what I'm truly about. But it's just getting hard, and I feel like Optavia is trying to help us, and they're putting out these great incentives and the incentive trip and the CSB Plus, but it's almost out of reach. People can't earn it, and we're kind of all just feeling defeated.
Well, I really appreciate you sharing all that with me. It sounds like you have a lot of frustration. There's a lot of angst built up inside of you. How is all this making you feel?
Yeah, it's just not fun anymore. This used to be so fun, and I'm feeling kind of defeated. I'm kind of feeling defeated for myself and for my team. Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask you another question?
No, go ahead.
So I would love to know, what is your greatest fear with all of this?
I'm afraid of this all going away. I love what we do, and it's my livelihood. And so if things keep going in this direction, we won't be here.
Well, I know that recently we were at an advanced leadership retreat, and we heard Dr. A and Jamil talk about facts versus story. After learning about that and just listening to yourself, Do you think that all of what you're telling me, are they all 100% facts, or is any of it maybe some stories that you're making up?
I mean, I guess some could be stories. We flew here, the airports were so crowded with so many people, so I'm not sure if the economy is bad as I think. I mean, half the people were in Mickey Mouse ears, so obviously they're taking their families to Disney and gonna be spending a lot of money, so it's just where they're choosing to spend their money. So maybe, you know, the economy is not what's hurting us. And I do have people who have earned the incentive trip and CSB. It just feels like, I guess it's only a couple people that have told me they feel like it's out of reach. So yeah, I guess I'm telling myself a lot of stories.
So if there wasn't any obstacles, what do you truly want?
I want this to be fun again. I want this to get back to where it was, where everyone was growing together and we were working together and people were having fun. And just to have that security.
Yeah. So with all this emotional energy that you're giving towards this situation and these stories, do you feel like that's moving you closer to what you want or further away from what you want?
Oh, it's definitely pulling me farther away from what I want. I'm probably getting dragged down just like my team is feeling defeated.
Yeah. It seems like a lot of your energy is spent not in a creative mode. Where do you feel like you're playing in the drama triangle right now?
Yeah, I'm definitely, I'm playing a victim, and I guess a lot of my team is doing the same.
It sounds like you're letting what your team is telling you impact the way you feel versus leading. So what would it look like if you took 100% responsibility for where your business is? What do you think that would do for you?
Yeah, I think what would happen is I just need to show up and start creating new myself. I need to go find some new clients, new coaches, and make this fun again. I need to show my team that it can be done. I've done it before, we've all done it before, and we can do it again. Yeah, we just need to show it's possible.
So knowing that, knowing what you want to create and that you're going to take ownership and responsibility, what are a couple easy, measurable action steps you can take today to get you moving towards that goal?
Yeah, I think I need to get back to showing up on every Zoom that's available with my camera on, fully present. Do the high leverage building business activities like we used to do when we were growing. I think those would be obvious, simple things that I could just get back into. The consistent posting on Facebook, sharing my journey boldly, and offering coaching to the people that I want to partner with.
That sounds great, Michelle. How about we just check in? How about you hold yourself accountable and check in with me next week and let me know how it's going?
Sounds good. Awesome. Thanks, Tiffany.
Yeah.
All right, Tiff, so what's the vibe? I know you've been meeting with your strategic partners, you've been Zooming with your team. How are you feeling about everything?
Well, I'll be honest, I'm trying to be nice to these people, but good grief. It's taken a lot, I'm just telling you, because some of them are so whiny. I mean, they're like kids in adult bodies. They're giving me every excuse. This is what I hear over and over. Well, I'm going through, this isn't an excuse, but, which means it's all excuses. And they're just complaining about the economy and social media, and they don't have any structure. Gosh, they all came home to be their own boss, and now they work less than they did when they had a full-time job. And they've all gained their weight back. No one's doing anything. They're blaming. Nobody's gonna get on the cruise. I don't know. I'm just getting really annoyed with these people. I built this business in a hospital room, and they stubbed their toe and they need a week off. I'm just over it. I need new partners, Megan. I really do.
Yeah, I hear you. You have a little bit of emotion around
And I'm doing good because I'm not telling them this. It's just in my head.
Right. Okay. All right. Dan never gets voice messages like this. I know. Okay, so Tiffany, let's just talk about this. You've got a lot of emotion, and I'm going to ask you if it's serving you, but let's start with this, okay? I know we've talked about this before, but are you at a place where you feel like you want to lean on the side of being 100% right, even if some of the things you're saying are right, or do you want to kind of shift to move to the place of being 100% responsible?
If you want me to to be honest, I feel like I am right, Megan, but you know, my teaching's going down and my income's dropping. I don't really like that. So I guess if it means that it would help the business, maybe I'm willing to take responsibility.
Okay.
But I'm gonna need help.
You're gonna need help. Okay. Well, that's what I'm here for. We're committed to partnering, right? So I want to ask you, do you think your team has a sense of how you're feeling? Like, how is all of this? There's no way you, I know you don't tell them, but it might flow into the way you're leading or showing up one-on-one or in team Zooms. Like, what are you thinking they're experiencing on the other side of you?
Well, I'm probably a little pushy and a little fired up and telling them just to suck it up and do the work. And they're probably not, I mean, honestly, like less people on training now, and my text threads are really quiet and no one's really asking for Zooms anymore. So I don't know, maybe it's not really working the way I'd hoped.
Okay. So what I heard you just say is what you're doing isn't working. Is that right?
Yeah, it's not working.
Okay. Are there some things that you can begin to maybe shift in and realize, like, maybe if you show up in a different way that it would assist your team better as a partnership?
Yeah, I probably need to calm down, for one. Maybe think before I get on these Zooms with people and just really have empathy for where they are and realize, like, not everybody can be me. We all have different goals. I'm making it real hard on her, y'all. But no, seriously. I probably need to, show up kinder, ask more questions. I probably am talking too much, and I'm not really, I'm not even letting them tell me where their heart is. I'm just kind of jumping in with, well, it's going to be great if we do the work, and maybe I just need to calm down and listen a lot more.
Yeah. And I love you.
I do know that.
And you are one of the grittiest people I know. So you did build this business from the hospital room, right? But the expectation for everybody to be you or show up as you is pretty unrealistic, right?
Yeah, it is.
So are there some things that you could start maybe doing today, or maybe a few people you want to maybe open that bridge back up with?
Yeah, maybe I need to reach out to a few of our coaching partners and just get on Zoom and just kind of see where they're at and actually really listen, not listen to respond, but maybe just really listen and see what they want in the season and maybe what their capacity is, so I can lovingly challenge them to move forward versus being so controlling and domineering and all of that.
You think that'll be a little more fun for you and the team?
Yeah, I definitely think that they would probably get a lot more out of that than they are right now.
Sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, thank you.
How good was that?
Hey Megan, I know you've been Zooming with your team. I'd love to hear some of the things that you've been doing to assist your team.
Michelle, I do all the things. I am literally carrying these people on my back. Like, I just don't know if they would be here if I didn't drive them and escort them and like trainings and stuff. I mean, I'm there early, I stay late, I'm willing to do all the things. They have actually really legitimate reasons why they can't be there. I mean, I guess I could also have those reasons, but they're not, I still show up. But they, I take notes for them. I scan them all in. I text them. I tag them in every post in the coach page. And then I make sure I don't even make them go to the coach page. Like, I'm gonna actually take the recording and then text it to them and then voice message them and let them know that I texted them the recording to make sure. And then I'm gonna be like, hey, do you want me to meet you to watch the replay? I saw it, but like, we could go over takeaways if you want to. I'm really willing to do all the things. It's just a little exhausting.
Yeah, you must be pretty tired doing all that.
I'm tired.
Is this working for you? Like, is it helping your team?
No. I just don't know what else to do because I feel like I've done all the things, but it's also really hard on my family because, I feel like I should be like always available. They say like no emergencies in Optavia, but like when your business is where it is, like you need to be available, right? So like, it's like my phone is with me all the time and my kids are like, hey mom, and I'm like, babe, do you want to go to the concert? Like, I gotta pay for the concert. I need to take the call, right? So I just think I just need to be always available and always on for them because I don't I don't want them to go away.
Yeah. Is your team, I'm just curious, is your team creating on their own, or are they doing any on their own?
I don't think creating is a word that I would use for what they're doing, really, but I just see so much potential, though. Yeah, I really love them. And I'm their dream defender. Their why matters to me, Michelle.
I know, your heart is so big. Your heart is so
It's
big.
so big, it hurts sometimes.
Megan, think about this. What's at risk if you let some of this behavior go, if you stop doing some of these things?
Then I risk them having to take ownership of their own life and dreams, and that could mean them walking away. And that means it's a risk for my own business if I'm not putting my energy other places. But I have to be honest, I think my family needs me to maybe take that risk.
Yeah, it's costing you time with your family, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's costing me a lot.
Yeah. What would it be like if you took 100% responsibility to try to get yourself out of some of this drama and from that hero and move to coach?
Yeah. I want to be a coach, Michelle. I want to do this with partners. I don't want to drag people along. And I got into this because I really believe in this mission, and I want partners that believe in this mission and are willing to work for it. And I guess if that means that there is a season where I have to put all the energy away from dragging and into building to get where I want to go, because it'll be way more fulfilling and honestly way more healthy for me, then I probably need to do that.
Yeah, so what's just a couple decisions that you could make to do this?
Well, first I'm just gonna stop texting those people that haven't texted me back in 6 months that I keep texting every week. And then I'm gonna maybe tell somebody what I got out of the Amazing Coach training, but I'm not gonna do all the work for them. I might do a last call to see if anybody has some goals, but I'm not gonna pretend that they wanna do the work if they don't. So I'm gonna figure out who my strategic partners are for November, and then I'm gonna focus on new.
That sounds perfect. It's gonna free up a lot of time.
You guys stand up. So I want to introduce you, if you're not sure what it looks like, here are three amazing conscious transformational leaders. Give them a big round of applause. Thanks, guys.